we are live. Fantastic. So let's talk about the most common reason for green card denials. So let's see. Let's give the people we just joined. So let's give the people another minute or so to join us. And of course, as always, if you have any immigration questions, just put them in the chat and I'll be more than happy to address them, okay? But be specific. The more information you give me in your question, the easier it is for me to properly answer. And of course, nothing I say here, it's considered legal advice, okay? So I'm gonna address a few topics. Today, we're really gonna talk about family immigration. We are not going to talk at all about employment-based or investment-based immigration. So we are shifting gears a little bit. Why is that? Because it's February and then we're going to have Valentine's Day, and I want to help people bring their loved ones. So we're going to talk about marriage-based, family-based, how to bring your loved ones here, how to keep them here if they are already here. So let's see first, okay? Oh, look, we have already a question. So before I get into my whole topic, let's see. I applied for a U visa, had biometrics appointment. What's next? And would I get any documentation? U visa, it's not a family visa. It's you're a victim of a crime, okay? If you already had your appointment, you should, I'm assuming, I don't know, you probably did it with an attorney. You should contact them first, because they have more knowledge about your case than I do. Generally speaking, once you get your biometrics appointment, the next step after that, it's the work permit. It takes about 8 years to get a U visa approved. You might want to look to see if you have other options, just the U visa. Listen, let's put it this way. U visa is an excellent option if you don't have anything else. On the other hand, I speak from experience. I'm an immigrant. It took me 16 years to get my papers. I know what it's like. There is a cost associated with opportunity lost. And what do I mean by that is the longer it takes you to get to a place where you are authorized to work, become a member of the society, progress in your career, in your life, in your home ownership, achieve that American dream that you have, the longer you stay in that state where you don't have status, or you have limited options, you're not progressing, okay? So you really want to look at other options as well, because U visas might take a very, very long time. It's a great option if you don't have anything else, okay? You should get a work permit depending on where you live. You should get a work permit in less than a year, okay? How long would it take for an I-130 if your husband's a 10-year green card holder? Okay, depends. He applied for just now for the I-130. Are you in the United States or are you outside the United States? And if you are within the United States, do you still have status? Are you in lawful status in the United States? All those things make a difference. So let's talk about that for a second before I address my topic, okay? Let's say you're married, your spouse is a permanent resident, such as your case, and you're married. They're filing a petition on your behalf, which is perfect because you're in current status, which means you don't need to wait for a visa to become available. Now, you don't wait for the visa to become available, but you still cannot get the green card in the United States if you are not in lawful status. So if you entered illegally or you came here and you overstayed your visa, you still can't get the green card. It's more complicated, okay? So it really depends where you are, how you are doing it. Do you need to go abroad? If you can do it here, do you need a waiver? It really depends on a lot of things. Generally speaking, I'll tell you right now, I-130 for a spouse could be 26 months, like last I checked, okay? Let me see. Tell me exactly where you applied, but what location, based the first 3 letters on your receipt, and I'll tell you how long it's gonna take, okay? My asylum was, Kumar, my asylum was denied a Fifth Court of Appeal. Now I'm married, green card holder, my 2 sons citizen. I entered illegal. Okay, so you're married to a green card holder, I assume. You'd have 2 children who are US citizen. You entered illegally. Okay, so what is your question? Nuresh, how can I convert my B1, B2 to F1 visa? I'm currently in the States and I have valid entry of 6 months. You need to file a change of status application with USCIS. You first need to find a school, be admitted to the school. And once you are admitted to the school, we can help you apply for a change of status to student visa. The problem is, if you're not staying in active status, you have to prove, you have to maintain your status for a while, okay? They are taking a long time to process. So let me answer first the question for the person who just told me, but they are in California. So give me 1 second, I'll check for you, and we'll get to that, Kumar, okay? 1 second. Okay, let's see. Yeah, when I'm on video, it takes a little bit of time to load up. So wait a minute, okay? So let's see, 1:30 in California. Check online, by the way, you know. Let's see, I-130. The form category, it's permanent resident, filing for a spouse, and at the California Service Center. Yeah, so it's 25 and a half months from the time you got the receipt. You can check that status online. If you go to USCIS and you do processing times, you can see it. So that is only the initial step, the I-130. I don't know if you were able at the same time to file for the green card application. And if not, this doesn't get you a green card, doesn't get you a work permit. So once that is done, you have to start that part of the process with the actual green card. This is only your spouse's petition on your behalf. All right. Let's see. Okay, Kumar, so your asylum was denied in the 5th DCA. Now you're married, I'm assuming, to a green card holder? You entered illegally, okay. And you have 2 sons who are US citizens. Okay, I assume, I can't tell. And if that is the case, you want to know now? Okay, so it really depends. Okay, you entered illegally, which generally means you cannot get a green card by processing in the United States. Okay, you would have to travel back to your home country in order to get your green card. There are very limited circumstances, and I actually have a video that's going to be posted later this week. There are very limited circumstances under which, if you entered illegally, you can get the green card in the United States without leaving the United States. But there are options. There are definitely options. I would want to know, how old are your citizen children? Okay. And you might, depending on when you entered in the United States, you might be able to get the green card through the removal process, reopen it in court, and actually being married to a permanent resident, try to get it in court. That might be your better option than having to go back home, especially if you were persecuted and you were afraid to go back home, even though the court denied your asylum. Okay, let's get back to Nuresh. How can I convert B1, B2 to an F1? If you are still in your valid 6 months, get admitted to a school, get the I-20, then give us a call and we can help you with the student visa. We met in June 2022, got engaged. Can we file in our petition for the K1 visa in March 2023? Why haven't you filed already? You could have filed as soon as you met in June 2022, but you got engaged then. When did you get engaged? Yes, you can file as long as you are not married. Your US citizen fiance can file a petition on your behalf. Your US citizen fiance should give us a call and we can help you with that. Can I apply for my dad if he's in Canada on visitor visa? Yes, you can. It doesn't matter where he is as long as you petition for him, okay? Okay, let's see. Kumar, 5 years. I'm assuming your children are 5 years old, the US citizens? It will help with proving hardship, but it will not help you qualify for any of that, okay? The kids can help you when they become 21, but you don't want to wait until they are 21. You have to look at other options. You really do have to look at other options. Kumar, hopefully that was useful, okay? It really depends. By the way, your situation is very, very, very complicated. Likely, every single thing that has happened in your from the time you came to the United States is going to make a difference as to what you can do. This is not even with all the information you give me, even if you're all anonymous. It's only so much I can tell us. I have not seen your entire case, okay? All right, good. All right, so let's go over the main reasons. Well, since I'm here, let's talk about who can sponsor what, right? Who can sponsor for which family member. So family petitions. Family petitions in general fall into two different categories, okay? Immediate relatives and family preference. Who's an immediate relative determines how long it's going the process to take, because immediate relatives do not have to wait for a visa to become available. There is no wait line. Does that mean it's going faster? No, it does not. And actually, in some cases, it actually goes slower, but you don't have to wait for a visa. So that's not one of the considerations that you need to worry about. So immediate relatives are spouses and unmarried minor children of US citizens, okay? And parents of US citizens. I always forget the parents. I don't know why. Then you have family preference. And under family preferences, there are 4 separate categories, okay? Each of them is different, and each of them allows you to apply for different relatives. So let's go over those a little bit, okay? So I know I'm looking at this screen, the other screen, that screen. It's because I'm on different platforms. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok at the same time. So I'm trying to make everybody happy. I look at everyone. So F1, which is family-based preference 1, is unmarried sons and daughters of US citizens. Remember how I just said unmarried children, that is considered under the age of 21. Well, under the age of 18, depending on which state, under the age of 21, depending on other things, those are immediate relatives. For family preference, it's unmarried over the age of 21 of US citizen, that is F1 category. Processing time for that 9 years, okay? In general, if you are from China, India, Mexico, or the Philippines, it's even longer than that, way longer, okay? Now, second preference, F2 category, is spouses and children, as well as unmarried sons and daughters of permanent resident. Remember how the first one was citizens? This is permanent resident. And this one is broken into F2, A and B. F2A is spouses and children of permanent residents. So if you are a green card holder, you can petition for your spouse and your children if they are still outside the United States, okay? Now, F2 category, it's unmarried sons and daughters, which are over the age of 21 of permanent residents, okay? So F2A, F2B. F2A, it's current. What does that mean? It means that if you petition for them and at the time the initial petition is approved, it's still current, that means they can apply for a green card right away. And that one right now, it's actually the fastest category, fastest by far. So what does that mean? It means spouses and children of permanent residents can get a green card faster than anybody else outside of spouses of US citizens, okay? So they don't have to wait for a visa to become available. It doesn't matter that the government is processing applications filed in 2014 or 2015, or as you look at the other category, I'm going to talk about 2007. Okay, so you don't need to wait for that, spouses and children of permanent resident. which is also that why sometimes we tell permanent residents not to apply for citizenship, because that would make it slower. So before people say, oh, it's just a form, I'm going to apply for citizenship, you might not want to. It really depends. Every case is different. Okay. So let's talk about F2B. F2B, unmarried sons and daughter of of permanent residents, and that is over the age of 21. And right now they are processing applications filed in September 2015. So there's a long wait for that. And then, of course, you have married sons and daughters of citizens, and then brothers and sisters of US citizens. And those are really cases right now, 16 to 18-year wait, except if you are from Mexico, in which case it's 23 years, takes forever. If you are from Mexico, 1997 cases for married sons and daughters of US citizens. So it really depends on the family relationship, your immigration status, how fast you want them here, what country they are from, are they married, are they not married, how old they are. So whenever, I get a lot of those questions that are very general. When can I bring my brother here? Well, I don't know. How old is your brother? How old are you? What's your citizenship status? What's your green card status? All of those things make a difference, okay? And in most cases, it's nothing you can do to make it go any faster, okay? But that doesn't mean you shouldn't talk to an experienced immigration attorney to see if you don't have other options. 2 consultations, for example, this week alone. This week, I talk to people all day long. This week, I had a lady who's telling me, well, I didn't apply for my sister. She's been here for 20 years. I didn't apply for her because the lawyer told me back then that it was going to take about 20 years. Okay, so what is her immigration status right now? Oh, she still doesn't have anything. Yeah, but if you would have filed 20 years ago, now she would have been eligible for a green card. Most people don't wait, and they have a lot of other options in between. But this one happened that she didn't have any other options in between. She's not married, doesn't have children who are US citizens, doesn't have anything else. And we are 20 years into it. This lady lost 20-something years of her life. And at this point, nothing's changed. She still has, the sister still has to petition for her. So we're looking at another 20 years. What a wasted life. What a wasted life. So let's not do that. The other one was, I was talking to someone, is like, I just applied for citizenship and they wanted to sponsor their child. It was a little bit more complicated than that. I'm like, why did you apply for citizenship? Well, I heard it's faster. Faster what? To bring my child. Where's your child? Here. Undocumented? Yeah. You have no idea. Those people, especially in their situation, which there were certain circumstances as well, it does not help them that they apply for citizenship. So don't do what you think you need to do because you Googled, okay? It just doesn't make sense. And just because I tell you this today, it doesn't mean it's the right thing for you. It may be the right thing, but you don't know until you get someone who is actually going to look at your case, look at your immigration history, your criminal history, your family history, marital history, the whole thing, everything that has happened in your immigration case, okay, to see what can be done and what is the actual right thing to do for you. I also meet with people. I met with somebody in January. They were waiting for the holidays to be over. So I met with them in January. And I remembered their name. I'm very good with names for some reason, okay? And I remember their name. I'm like, didn't we talk before? She's like, yes, we talked last year. And you told me that I should talk to you every single year because things change. And what do you know? It did change. The lady was from Haiti. And the first time she came in, she came to talk to me. She was not eligible for TPS under the old TPS Haiti. But since then, we got a brand new TPS Haiti under which she's eligible. So we are now able to apply for a work permit for her, which was not the first time. So just because the first time people tell you you can do it doesn't mean you can do it now. And the other way around, law changes all the time. Okay, your situation changes all the time. You get married, you get divorced. All right, So I told you about who can petition for who, family preference, immigrant relatives. Let me address some questions, and then we're going to go into the most common reasons for denials of green cards. Okay? So I see I don't have chats, questions on Facebook or YouTube. So let me go through TikTok. All right. So give me guys a minute. All right. Fingerprints reviewed. Let's see. Completed 4 months before, but case 485 still pending with NBC, not moving to next stage. Why? Well, let's talk about that, Anthony, okay? Hold on. Oh, if I would know how to make this disappear. Anyway. All right. So you completed fingerprints, so you apply for a green card. Case is still with NBC. It's not moving to the next stage. Once you do the fingerprints, you should see the next status. It should say on your 485, if you check online, it should say fingerprints have been applied to your case. Once you see that, it's actually moving. You may not see it, but it's moving. Okay, you might not see it for a long time. Your 485, when you are checking, okay, when you do USCIS processing times and you put your receipt in, your actual receipt number, it tells you where it is, and then it will tell you based on the first 3 letters, okay, where it is right now. That does not mean that is where your case is going to be called for interview. Anthony, I want to know if you're filed based on marriage, if your marriage is still good, and I want you to know where you live, because if you tell me where you live, I can check and tell you how long it's going to take to get to a green card process, to a green card interview. There are some places in the country where the interviews are being scheduled within a year. There are, which is very, very fast in the immigration world, okay? Very fast. There are some other places in the country, 6 years, okay? I don't know how long it's going to take for you to get it. In the meantime, after the fingerprints, in about 7 to 9 months max, you are going to get a work permit. And after that, you'll get a social security number and so on. Okay. So please as soon as I see your message below, I'll get back to you and I'll check for you and I'll let you know. Based on your location, I need to know where you live. City, you don't need to give me an address. Okay. Fingerprints review completed 4 months before, still pending. We got that. Overstayed my tourist visa, less than 180 days. Can an employer sponsor my green card? Yes and no. And even if they do sponsor, by the time they gets to you, it's 2 to 3 years. Very, very long processing times. So you are definitely going to go over the 180 days. And you do not want to stay here and be undocumented or without papers in that period of time if you actually have real hope for this employer. And if they are willing to go through that long processing and the cost associated with that, then you might want to leave and find other things to do for a couple of years until they get to you. It really depends on the category under which the employer can sponsor you. There are some employers who can sponsor you based on you can sponsor yourself depending on how advanced your education, your degree, and everything else is. You still need to be in status at the time you do that. If you already overstayed, your options are very limited. The longer you overstay, the worse it gets. Yes. Hello to the US. Yes. And stay for 175 days. When I tried to return 1 year later, they withdrew your visa. Yes. Unfortunately, that's what it is. We have seen reports lately that even if you overstayed by 1 day, if you are leaving the United States, they are revoking your visa. And if they are not revoking your visa, when you are coming back in, they are going to revoke it then and deny entry. It is what it is. Jenny, I requested 3 times my tourist visa. They rejected. This is why they reject the visas at the consulate, okay? Most of the time for people who apply for tourist visas, you have to show that you are going to return back home. So you are applying for a B1, B2. B1 is travel for business, B2, travel for pleasure. If you are traveling here for pleasure, you have to show that you can afford to be here, going here on vacation, show what you are doing, show the hotel reservation, show that you can afford to pay for your ticket. and then show the consular officer that you have so many ties back home that you have every single reason to return. And what are they looking for? They are looking for family ties. RT3 single, no kids, no job. Unlikely. Does it happen? It happens. Unlikely. If you are 40 something, you've been married for 20 kids, all of them are under the age of 18, you've been working for the same company for 10 years, 15 years, you own property, you have money back home, they're going to approve your visa because they know you have more reasons to return than in the first instance. So there are a lot of obvious reasons in between, and there, nobody falls into these two categories. You have to use your judgment. But if you don't have ties back home here, they're not going to approve your visa. You have to show that you overwhelmingly don't have immigrant intent. And how do you show that? By showing that you're going to go back home. All right, let's see. My prima facie determination, Tanya, expires the end of March. Will I get renewal automatically? They generally say yes. My suggestion would be, please go about 2 to 3 weeks ahead, apply for an extension of your prima facie determination. Just send them a letter. VAWA based, and you are in New York. So Anthony, excellent question. So let me go into that, okay? So you said your 485 is pending, you did your fingerprint. Let me know if your 360 was already approved, or did you apply for everything at once? But let's say you apply for everything at once, okay? It's being processed in Vermont. You might actually get the green card without an interview, assuming you submitted everything and your case is complete, including medical, including your police certificates, including everything else, assuming they believe you, of course. You could get it without going to an interview. If not, they are going to schedule you for an interview in New York. So when you check processing times, okay, when you check processing times online on USCIS, let me see if I can get it, I'll tell you, okay? You want to do Form 485, you are going to say, based on, it's not either T or U. So you go family based, and then you select New York, New York. And processing time for a green card there, it's not even bad. It's 16 and a half months. You are not going to get to that step until after the 360 is approved. Okay? So if you approved for VAWA at the same time, you're first going to get the fingerprints, then you're going to get the prima facie determination, then you are going to get the work permit, Social Security, and then you wait for the green card. The work permits right now, guys, are coming for 2 years, which is not bad. Okay. The dancing goat. All right. So I checked my online status, my 485 case approved. Does it still mean I will do an interview? Ooh, when was that approved? Because if your 485 case, 485, it's a green card. Does it mean I will do an interview? If it's already approved, your 485, you are not going to have an interview. That means they approved it. You're going to get the green card in the mail. Check when it was approved, because if it's been longer than, say, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, that card is lost. You need to do something about it, okay? Fresno, California, mother applied, I-485, applied May 22, still no news. You got ways to go. You have to wait a long time for that. All right. I just want to know if my husband U visa is approved and the I had for U2 visa. Okay. You just have to wait. On U visas, it takes forever. Our parents, no interview for I-485. Sometimes, Stocky. Sometimes the parents get approved without interviews. Sometimes they get called for an interview. It really depends on how complete the application package is. It depends if you meet all the criteria, if there are no red flags. Guys, seriously, if you want to avoid or try to minimize the chances of going for an interview and having to wait for that, hire a lawyer. And I'm not joking. You don't have to hire me by all means, but you should hire a lawyer. And you do that in the beginning. You don't fill out the paperwork and try to do it in the middle of the case, because in the middle of the case, we can't do much. I mean, we can try, but it's not the same. You need to do it right the first time to minimize all the mistakes, delays, denials. You need to do that. Yes, you can get U2 visa. Yes, you can. You may not get a work permit in the meantime, but when your spouse gets the U visa, you get the U2. 2-1B refused. That's why they refused it. They refused it because you didn't show you had ties back to your home country when you applied for the visa, okay? You did not overwhelmingly show that you didn't have immigrant intent, okay? So you have to overwhelmingly show the consular officer that you have ties back home, and I just addressed it. So I'm sure we're going to put a video on it because I seem to have a lot of questions on that. I'm sure we're going to have a video on YouTube on that. If you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go through our beacons in the TikTok profile and go and subscribe to that. We post videos there all the time, okay? Let's see. All right. How many times interview fingerprint, 2 times prints? You should only have to do fingerprints once for each application. If you did it twice, you probably didn't get them right the time. Look, it's technology, okay? Sometimes you go and the machine doesn't really catch it, so they call you a second time. I don't know if that is what happened. I also have a client, for example, he works with a lot of grinding machines, sanders, so his fingerprints are very, they're not clear, so they call him a second time. It happens. If you had it the second time, you want to check the status of the application based on the receipt on the fingerprint notice. Check it until you see that the fingerprints have been applied to the case. If you see that it's been a while and it's not happening, okay, then what you want to do is call an immigration lawyer and see how they can help you out. You probably have an immigration lawyer who helped you file, okay? What's necessary for me to pile up? If you are sent an invitation to the United States, okay, to apply for a visa to come to the United States, it depends on what you are doing, what kind of visa you are applying, when are you applying, how many times have you been denied before, if you have been denied, and generally speaking, the list of documents is going to be listed on the visa requirements. Each visa requires different things. If you got a letter, I'm assuming you have a friend or a family member who wants to sponsor you. By the way, the letter is not really necessary anymore. It hasn't been necessary in years. So you need to prepare all the documentation that will show that you have family, a job, property, money in the bank, that you will have all that to go back home. That's what they want to see. You need to prove the officer you're going back home. That's how you prepare for that. You have an uncle. Yeah, they can send you invitation. You can apply for all. That. You just need to show you have a reason to return. Okay. Are you married? Are you single? Do you have children? If you have that, include the documentation. Show the money in the bank. Show that you have a steady job, paychecks, taxes, bank accounts, all those things. Beautiful arts behind you. Thank you. Actually, some of those are mine. Okay, not all of them. I created some of that art. So, for example, that one, that's mine. The ones on top are all mine, made by me. The other ones are not, but I like the colors. Pink perfect. What are the requirements for a business to sponsor you? I addressed employment-based immigration, and we have a lot of YouTube videos on that. To get a business visa, it's a B1 business visa, or is an employer to sponsor you to come and work for them. Those are totally different. Business visas. Is it your business? Is it somebody else's business? Are they hiring you as an executive or manager? Are they hiring you because you have knowledge that nobody else has? What kind of visa are you talking about? Do you want to come here and open your own visa? I would need to know what's your education experience, how much money you are going to invest, what country you are coming from. Are you married? Are you single? I need to know all these things, okay? If you have a desire to come to the United States, you need to do your research first. Then you need to book a consultation with an experienced immigration attorney. You need to do that. There is no advice that you are going to listen. Google has all the right answers and Google has all the wrong answers. You are going to know what the right answer is for you when somebody's looking at you, at your history, at your documentation, talks to you, figures out what's going on, and tells you honestly, do you have chances or you don't have chances? What are your chances? Can you get it? Do you qualify? Do you not qualify? Nobody can here can tell you that. Can the business sponsor you? I don't know anything about that business. How many employees do they have? How long have they been in business? How much money are they making? What was their profit last year? For what position? Do they need your position? Do you have the qualifications for the position? Okay, there is a lot that goes into that. Okay, let's see. If you've been denied 3 times, you're applying with the same thing. You're not providing the officer what you need, what they want to see. Yeah, you can apply all you want. You're going to waste your money every single time until you try to find other things. If you have been denied for a non-immigrant visa so many times, a tourist visa, it's because you have not proven the government that you are going to return back home. Okay? Let's get some other questions because that I already addressed before. How long is the process for a 601A? Well, let's see. In general, 23 months. For a 601A, 22 and a half months. That's how long it says online. Can it be faster? Yes. Can it be slower? Most likely. If I have a work visa permit for 2 years, how can I get a green card? Depending on the type of visa you have. If you have a J1, that requires you to go home because you have a 2-year home residency requirement. You need to go back home. If you have a different type of visa, you might be able to come. If you got that, you might be able to come and get it here. You might have to go and approve it here and then get processed in your country. It really depends on the type of current visa that you have. Do you have a sponsor? Guys, there are very similar. There are 5 reasons, 5 ways to get a green card in the United States. 5, generally speaking, okay? There are others for diplomats and so on, but trust me when I tell you, they're not on TikTok. Okay, so green card lottery in October, and you have to be abroad and you can apply, or you have to be able to still travel abroad to get your green card. Investment, you have to come from a treaty country. Third one is by employment. So you need to find a sponsor. You need to find an employer who's willing to petition for you and sponsor you so you can come to the United States. Family, it's the other one. We just went over all the options, which family members can petition for you, can sponsor you. And then, which one did I not? Asylum. Okay, so if you are in the United States already and you are here in the first year, you apply for asylum. Those are the only ways to get a green card. If you have a C2 visa, okay, if you have a C1D, if you have a C2, if you have, most of those will not allow you, it depends. Most of those will not allow you to get a green card in the United States. You have to leave, you have to enter the United States with another country, or you have to be processed abroad. All right. I see a comment on YouTube. Due to the numerical limitations on immigrant visa issuance, this petition is not eligible for further processing. How long will it take for them to call you? So, Richard, that is normally when the I-130 was already approved. It went to the National Visa Center. It's at the National Visa Center. For me to answer that, I would need to know from you the exact visa category you are under and from what country. Okay? Hi, ma'am. Can I apply for VAW? I've been married for 5 months. Maybe, maybe not. If you have been married for 5 months, I'm assuming you are married to a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. We would need to talk about that more. VAWA requires that you have been abused by your spouse, you've been married for 5 months, that happens even before marriage. And the abuse doesn't have to be physical. It could be psychological, emotional, financial abuse. It could be a million ways of abuse. Can you apply? If you meet the criteria, yes, you can apply. Okay. Innocent, I don't know if the clock stops, why they stopped. It really depends. The asylum clock can stop for many reasons. Okay. I have a question about the I-134. It depends on, tell me first what it is about the I-134, what kind of application you are trying to do the I-134 for. Is it for a parole? Is it for a tourist visa? It is for what? And then I'll try to help you, Richard. Can a married couple and their 2 daughters come to the US and stay and get a just by my family file for? It depends. If it's a married couple, depends on your relationship, your family's relationship to them. And they can't just come to the United States and then get the papers here. The waiting time for married siblings, it's 20-something years. Okay. So for the parole, what is your question on the I-134, Richard? You tell me the question, I'll try to answer. In the meantime, how long may it take to process marriage visa husband in Canada? Amir, is your husband in Canada, or you're in Canada, I assume. So are you already married? Is your spouse a US citizen or a permanent resident? What's the story there? Give me more information, I'll help you. All right, let's see. All right. Can I adjust my status under parole? It depends on the type of parole. Do you have humanitarian parole? Were you parole when you entered the United States illegally and caught at the border? Did you get parole as advanced parole? Did you get it because you're a TPS on DACA? Depending on the kind of parole and your entire history, we can tell you. Each parole is different. I would not know. I cannot even venture into telling you that. Can they get a temporary travel document? Maybe, maybe not. Advanced parole under what? How did you get the advanced parole? Under what category? Your visa class is F11 since 2021 due to the numerical limitation. Tell me what visa class is that so I don't have to look it up. It's very slow for me. Tell me who sponsored you so I can look into that, okay? Richard on YouTube? Okay, let's see other Richard over here. Ma'am, I have 2 grandchildren that are citizens. Would love to take care of them after school. That is a red flag. Okay, Sandy, here's the red flag. First, you have 2 grandchildren that are citizens. I'm assuming one of your children, son, daughter, is a US citizen as well. Then your citizen children, they can sponsor you to get a green card. However, for you to take care of them after school, the government's position is this. You taking care of someone after school, family or not, is taking away the job from an American. Basically, they're expecting your family, okay, your kids, to pay for someone to pick them up, drop them off, take care of them after school and all that, and not you. And because that is a paid position, they don't want you to do that. That is unlawful employment in the United States. So if your children don't have papers, maybe are here on a temporary visa, on some other sorts, then we need to look to see if you have other independent ways of coming here or working here. Okay. Let's see. Submitted a congressional inquiry after waiting 2 years post I-751 interview. You think that helps? No, it doesn't. And you actually probably made your case go much slower. That's what happens when people don't do what they should be doing. Post 751 interview, okay? That is, the congressional inquiry is actually not the right way to approach it. You should have filed a mandamus lawsuit for them, okay? And that's what would have been. they get actually really pissed off when you do a congressional inquiry. And if there is a shelf where you get forgotten, that's probably where you end up. Humanitarian parole. Okay, so humanitarian parole, let's see. Can I adjust under humanitarian parole? We don't know yet. Let me tell you why. It depends under which category, because even humanitarian paroles have different categories. But let's say in general, if they are admitting you here as a humanitarian parole, they don't expect you to adjust status, because that is a brand new process. We do not know how it's going to be later on. We don't know. Think about it. This just started, right? A couple of months back. So we don't know if you'll be able to adjust. Many people would need to try. And at that point, the government is going to have to make a decision on how are they going to treat those cases. And then most likely what we see happening is somebody in Florida, it's going to get a different type of decision than somebody in, say, Seattle. And then they're going to start fighting it in courts. And at some point, they're going to agree. We don't know yet. Hopefully, yes. All right, let's see. Your dad is a U.S. citizen. Beres, how old are you? I have 2 people apply for me on the parole program. I want to know if they can approve 1 or 2. Both of them can be approved. But if you have one, the other one's already going to be in the system. So the first one that gets approved, that's the one you're going to get. Yeah, so if you are 36, you're already over the age. The visa bulletin for you, it's unmarried son and daughter of U.S. citizens, your F1 category. You have to wait. It's about 8 years, 9 years wait minimum, okay? Oh, good. Let's see. Diamond Diva. EOIR 42B with I-485, a good case with autistic son. Okay, so what's the question? I have a U visa. My green card was declined. Can I fight this? You cannot fight a denial of a green card because there is no jurisdiction. You need to find out why, okay? You might be able to do other things, but if it's denied based on discretion, you probably cannot. And you have a very limited period of time to file anything. So you have usually 30 days. If this has been longer than 30 days, you have to see what other options you have, okay? That doesn't mean you can't file again for another green card, okay? Give us a call. Let's see what we can do about that. How can someone get on the schedule for a private talk with you? The link is in my TikTok profile. Okay, it really is there. You guys can go there and book yourselves a paid consultation with me, and then we'll talk. I do not give free consultations. This is my free consultation, so I answer as many questions as I can here. Everything else, you have to go through my website and book, or you can call our office. So it's 954-466-0070. No, it's not a problem to have 2 applications on the parole program. As long as you don't lie on the applications. If you have 2 people fill out the I-134, it's okay. If you file 2 different visa applications and on the second one you did not disclose the first one, they will both get denied because you didn't disclose. So that's misrepresentation. If you have an individual hearing and you are scared, you should be scared. Individual hearing is your trial date. That is the decision when the judge makes, that is the day the judge makes a decision. Are they going to keep you here, or are they going to send you back home? You do not want to go to an individual hearing without an immigration attorney. We don't do court cases. I can refer you to someone if you call my office to take you to court, depending on where you are in the country. But we do not do court cases. So I can't even venture into that. But do not go to trial without a lawyer, okay? If I have a permanent resident husband and daughter, but I only have tourist visa, can I have green card? Depends. Did you overstay? Did you not overstay? What else is going on in your case? How long green card application takes? Anywhere from 2 weeks to 5 years. It really depends on the category. Can my mom sponsor me if she is a resident and I'm 31 and DACA recipient with a 245I time frame? The 245I may make you eligible for a lot of things. Yes, she may be able to, but it really depends. Your mom needs to file the I-130 first. Do you have that one approved? If you have that one approved, we can help you. If not, we can help you with the I-130 first, and then we'll look. If you have the 245I, choice. If someone overstays their visa and marries a U.S. citizen, do they have to go home? Usually not. How long does asylum process take? Forever. It really depends on where you are. Okay. I mean, I am in the Miami area. That's where our asylum office is. They take years. When can you apply for a U visa? You can apply for a U visa if you are in the United States and you've been the victim of a violent crime in the United States. I'm still waiting for interview date for my daughter. It's been 3 years and I'm already a citizen. Oh yeah, it depends how old your daughter is. If she's still a minor child, she should have had it already. If she is over the age of 21, you have a long ways to go. And it depends if she's married or single, Claudia. Can my mom sponsor me if she's a resident? I'm 31 DACA. We addressed that already. If you submitted your adjustment status, depending on the category, on December 5th, you didn't receive your receipt notice yet, you might want to check on the delivery. If they received it, you might want to call them up and show proof of delivery. If not, depending on where you filed, if you applied in Vermont, that one takes about 3 months. All right, guys, I've been talking for an hour, so I'm just going to go. Parents entered U.S. with inspection a few times overstayed. Can citizen son petition for them? Yes. Give us a call. It's not as easy as you think. Yes, if she's still minor, you should have already had your child here. It depends on the consulate. Some consulates all over the world have been closed for almost 2 years. Port-au-Prince, for example, is one of them in Haiti, and it is very, very, very slow. Okay. I-693 deficiency. How much more time to get the green card? Did you resubmit it? What did you do? I don't know. Guys, don't do this stuff on your own. What are you doing to yourselves? How much more important is for you guys not to pay money to a lawyer to help you with this, instead of waiting an extra year or 2 years or 3 years for no reason, or having somebody that you can't even call to ask questions? I don't get it. How long does it take to do a waiver for a J1 visa? It depends on your consulate. Some consulates are processing them in 2 weeks, and then some other consulates are processing them in 2 years. It really depends. And then U.S. government just takes its time, but you will eventually get it if the consulate doesn't have an objection. Walk across the border and you get more benefits than citizen. That is the stupidest comment I have ever seen. It makes no sense. Do you guys make sense? I don't know where you get your news. It makes 0 sense. We receive appeal letter from immigration, but we haven't been interviewed. Appeal letter? You don't get an appeal letter from immigration. All right. Richard, I'll respond on YouTube to you, okay, with the answer. And I have to go to my next appointment. So good to see you guys. I'm glad I was able to help people today. We'll do this again sometime next week. All right. Bye-bye.